Chesh, what if a real Batwoman rose in New York? New York City? 2025, rain fell in thin silver needles, hissing against the steel and glass of Midtown. The city never slept, but tonight it seemed uneasy. Sirens echoed in distant blocks. A helicopter carved circles above Hell's Kitchen. Somewhere below, a scream cut short. High above it all, in a penthouse workshop hidden behind mirrored windows, Dr. Elena Cross watched the city through a wall of screens. She didn't stand. She never would again. Her wheelchair hummed softly as its motors adjusted posture. Carbon fiber frame, gyro-stabilized, neural-linked controls, her own design. Elena's legs rested motionless beneath a graphite black blanket. The bullet that shattered her spine 15 years ago had left everything below her waist silent. Doctors called it permanent. Elena had called it a challenge. Tonight, she closed a diagnostics window on a robotic prosthetic arm and turned toward a darker monitor feed. Live street surveillance, a mugging, a woman dragged into an alley, 2 attackers. No police in sight. Elena's jaw tightened. Prep suit, she said calmly. An automated rail system descended from the ceiling. Segmented black armor unfolded like mechanical wings, flexible plating, impact gel, shock-absorbent joints. A powered exoskeleton locked around her legs, connecting directly to neural ports at her lower spine. A cascade of soft clicks sealed the suit. Elena exhaled, then stood. Not healed, not cured, but supported, powered, and upright, a fusion of woman and machine. A final piece lowered, a black helmet with narrow white eye lenses. No bat ears, no theatrics, just function, just fear. 15 years earlier, she'd been 16, walking home from robotics club, wrong street, wrong night, a robbery gone panicked, a gunshot, a boy running, a life rewritten in one violent second. In the hospital, Elena learned the truth. She'd never walk again. Her parents wept. Her friends faded away. The boy was never caught. But Elena never cried in front of them. She just asked for a laptop. Night, the rooftop door burst open as Batwoman, though the city didn't know that name yet, stepped into the rain. The exoskeleton amplified her motion, each step solid, controlled, silent. A grappling line fired from her wrist. She launched across the city canyon. Cloak panels stiffened into gliding wings, letting her descend like a black arrow. She landed above the alley. Below, the attackers cornered their victim. A voice dropped from the darkness. Step away. They turned. One swung a knife. Elena's exoskeleton reacted faster than muscle. A mechanical pivot, a wrist lock, the knife gone. The second pulled a gun. A stun dart struck his hand. The weapon clattered to the ground. Both men collapsed, muscles locking from neuromuscular disruption. Elena rolled forward, calm, controlled, cold. She helped the shaken woman to her feet. Police will arrive in 3 minutes, Elena said. Go, you're safe. The woman ran. Batwoman vanished into the rain. The company. By day, Elena Cross was CEO of Cross Adaptive Systems, a world-leading robotics and cybernetics firm. Her products help disabled people regain motion. Artificial limbs, exoskeletons, neural interfaces. She told investors it was about restoring lives. That was true. But beneath the corporate gloss, her private lab built something else. Surveillance networks, autonomous drones, non-lethal weapon systems, stealth armor. Tools for a war she declared silently years ago. A war on the violence that took her legs. The detective. Detective Marcus Ibarra didn't believe in urban legends. But when 3 armed men were found zip-tied to a lamppost with clean electrical burns on their hands, he raised an eyebrow. Then 4 more cases. Then a drone-captured silhouette. Black armored figure moving across rooftops. Ibarra stared at the still frame. She's real, he muttered. The villain. Every city breeds predators. In the underworld, whispers spread of a woman who couldn't be bribed, couldn't be intimidated, couldn't be outrun. So one criminal decided to test her. A hacker terrorist named Pulse, former cyber warfare engineer, a man who lived inside networks, capable of shutting down entire city grids. He hacked traffic lights, caused crashes, paralyzed emergency services. He broadcast one message, open quote, "Come find me, Shadow Girl," close quote. The trap Batwoman followed the signal to an abandoned data center under the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Inside, humming servers cast cold blue light. Elena rolled forward, scanning. Pulse waited, armed with a sonic disruptor tuned to interfere with neural-linked prosthetics. He fired. Elena's exoskeleton froze. Systems flickered. Her legs locked. Her suit went rigid. She fell. Hard. on the cold concrete, unable to move. Pulse stepped forward. "Under all that armor," he said, "you're still the girl in the wheelchair." Elena's voice came through her helmet. Steady, unshaken. "No." Her fingers twitched. A hidden drone launched from her shoulder. It struck Pulse with a taser burst. He collapsed screaming. Her backup systems rebooted. She rose again, not standing because she was healed, standing because she refused to stay down. Aftermath. Pulse went to prison. The city's systems were restored. No one knew who saved them. In her penthouse, Elena removed the helmet and sat once more in her wheelchair. Her legs returned to silence, but her eyes were bright. She looked out at New York, dangerous, cruel, alive, and waiting. Final scene. A young girl in a hospital bed watched news reports of mysterious rescues. She stared at her own motionless legs under a blanket. Hope flickered. Somewhere in the city, a dark figure glided across the skyline. Not a symbol of fear, a symbol of defiance. What if a paralyzed girl became the most advanced human-machine vigilante on Earth? Not because she was superhuman, but because she refused to be broken.
Batwoman, Chapter 2, The Symbol. Cross-Adaptive Systems Tower, Manhattan, 2025. 300 stories above the city, Dr. Elena Cross rolled silently across her penthouse floor. Rain tapped the windows again tonight. It always rained when the city needed her most. Or maybe she just noticed it more now. On a forgotten shelf beside a stack of engineering journals sat something out of place. A battered cardboard box of childhood belongings her mother had saved. Old photos, science fair ribbons, a cracked tablet from her teenage years, and one thin, dust-coated comic book. She opened it out of idle curiosity. Batwoman. Bright red hair, black mask, bat ears, a ridiculous cape, villains drawn in neon colors, dialogue bubbles full of bravado. It should have looked childish. Instead, Elena felt something spark behind her ribs. Not the costume, not the theatrics, the idea. A symbol. Something criminals whispered about before she arrived. Something children hoped for when sirens wailed. Something the city could believe in. She turned another page. A line of dialogue caught her eye. They must fear the night. Fear me. Elena smiled. Well, she murmured, they already do. The workshop. Down an elevator hidden behind a false wall, then through biometric locks, then into depths no building inspector knew existed. Elena's real laboratory stretched beneath the tower's foundation like a mechanical cathedral. Here lived her true work. Exoskeleton charging frames, drone racks, neural servers, armor molds, 3D printers whispering carbon fiber into existence. Her current helmet rested on a stand, smooth, featureless, functional, efficient, and anonymous. She studied it, then glanced again at the comic. A ridiculous thought formed. No, not ridiculous. Effective. Humans responded to symbols, stories, shapes burned into memory. Fear needed an image. Hope needed a name. She picked up a stylus and began sketching directly onto the helmet mold. Curved bat ears. Not tall, not theatrical. Low profile. Antenna arrays hidden inside. Directional audio sensors. The eye visors, no longer white. Red. Soft internal glow. Emotionless. Inhuman. Predator optics. She nodded. Yes, she said quietly. Now they'll remember. The move. Underground security reports showed something troubling. Government cybersecurity probes testing her company's private servers. Not yet dangerous, but curious. Curiosity led to discovery. Discovery led to cages. Elena did not intend to be anyone's weapon, so she moved. Over the next week, robotic haulers quietly expanded the lowest sublevels of the tower, old bedrock tunnels once meant for foundation reinforcement, now repurposed into sealed chambers. Independent power, air filtration, shielded data lines, drone hangars, a fortress beneath a skyscraper. Invisible, untouchable. Her throne room in the dark. By day, Dr. Elena Cross sat in conference rooms, brilliant and calm in her wheelchair. Engineers showed prosthetic prototypes. Doctors praised her neural bridge breakthroughs. Veterans cried when artificial legs walked again. Blind children saw their mothers' faces for the first time. She shook hands. She smiled. She inspired. To the world, she was the miracle engineer in a wheelchair changing medicine forever. No one saw the predator beneath. By night, she became something else. The new helmet sealed with a hiss. Red eyes ignited. Bat ears silhouetted against lightning. The exoskeleton locked onto her spine. The suit embraced her like a second body. She stepped from the shadows of her underground hangar as a drone descended and attached silently to her back, flight ready when needed. And the city awaited. Memory of Pulse. Elena stood on a rooftop overlooking Rikers Island. A file floated in her HUD. Inmate, Adrian Vale. Pulse. Status. Survived assault. Severe memory loss. No recollection of prior identity. She remembered him screaming in that alley 15 years ago. The muzzle flash. The bullet. The years in steel and pain. Now he sat in a prison infirmary, drooling, mind hollowed by violence inflicted by others like him. Elena exhaled slowly. A dark grin touched her lips. "Karma's a bitch," she whispered. Then she turned away. Justice was done. She had no need for revenge. She had a city to protect. The assistant. Deep underground, a young Spanish woman sat before a wall of monitors. Headphones on, coffee in hand, eyes sharp. "Shadow, police scanner just lit up in the Bowery," she said. Elena's voice replied through comms, low and modulated. Details. Armed robbery, hostages. 2 blocks from patrol response. You've got 5 minutes.
Batwoman, Chapter 3, Detectives and Deceptions, 2:17 a.m. The Batpod tore through the empty avenue like a black bullet. 2 massive wheels, one forward, one rear, gripped the asphalt with impossible traction. The machine wasn't sleek or pretty. It was brutal, industrial, purpose-built, a predator on tires. Elena was inside it, not sitting, not standing, connected. Neural cables ran from her suit into the pod's control spine. No steering wheel, no pedals, just thought and response. Instant. Behind her, sirens howled. NYPD cruisers flooded the street. A helicopter's searchlight carved across the night. Radio chatter overlapped in frantic layers. She's heading northbound. Box her in before Harlem. Detective Marcus Ibarra leaned forward in the lead cruiser, eyes locked on the black machine ahead. He had chased drug runners, murderers, and crooked politicians. None moved like this. The figure riding the pod was fully armored. No exposed skin, no hair, no face. Only a black suit, a crimson bat symbol across the chest, and glowing red eyes burning from the helmet's visor. Breasts molded into the armor. A woman, or at least shaped like one. But the way she moved, too precise, too fast, too inhuman. It reminded him of the old 1989 Batman movie he'd watched as a kid. Gothic, mechanical, terrifying. He muttered to himself, "So you're real after all, Batwoman." The crime boss bust. Earlier that night, Ibarra had been preparing a major sting. A dockside drug shipment at the abandoned Brooklyn Navy Yard. Months of surveillance, warrants signed, tactical teams ready. And then, nothing. When police arrived, the criminals were already zip-tied, bruised, broken. confessing. The ship sealed, the evidence untouched, gift-wrapped. Ibarra had been furious, not because the bust failed, it succeeded, but because she had done it first. Unlicensed, untraceable, unaccountable, and rough. Very rough. Now she was running, and he was determined to learn who she was. In the cowl, Elena's HUD painted the world in tactical overlays. 6 cruisers behind, 2 ahead. Another helicopter inbound. Robin's voice crackled through the headset. Bats, they're closing the grid. East Harlem choke point in 30 seconds. No tunnels, no ramps, no exits. You're boxed. Robin sounded worried. Elena did not. She turned her helmet slightly, watching patrol cars assembling ahead like a steel barricade. Then she smiled inside the cowl. Copy, she said. Stand by. The secret switch. Her left hand tapped a concealed control on the bat pod. Nothing. She tapped again. Nothing. Elena frowned. Oh, that's not good. She slammed the control with her palm. The bat pod answered. Panels split open. Rear vents ignited. The front wheel rotated 90 degrees. Compact wings unfolded. Restraints locked over her shoulders. Thrusters roared to life. Robin shouted into the headset. Wait! You never told me it could do this, Elena grinned. I didn't tell anyone. Flight. The bat pod launched straight up. Police cars screeched to a halt, skidding into the blockade. Officers stumbled out, staring skyward. The helicopter swung its searchlight upward, but the black shape had already climbed above them, silent now, gliding on vectored thrust. A bat-shaped shadow crossed the moon, then vanished into cloud. The aftermath. Ibarra stepped out of his cruiser, rain soaking his coat. He watched the empty sky where she had been. Gone again. He shook his head, half frustration, half admiration. Yeah, he muttered. Next time, Batwoman. The name would spread by morning. Media storm. By sunrise, news anchors argued about her existence. The mayor called her a dangerous vigilante. The police commissioner promised capture. Legal analysts debated constitutional violations. DC Comics issued a polite public statement disavowing any connection. But in a polished office high above Burbank, an executive glanced at skyrocketing comic sales reports and smiled quietly. Free marketing. They would never admit it. Return to the cave. A hidden service tunnel beneath cross-adaptive systems opened automatically as the Batpod descended. The vehicle folded back into ground mode and rolled into its docking cradle. Mechanical arms disengaged armor plating. Cables withdrew. The exoskeleton powered down. Elena was lowered gently back into her wheelchair. Robin stood waiting, arms folded. Next time, Robin said, warn me before you invent a flying motorcycle. Elena smirked. Noted. Robin shook her head, smiling despite herself. She's insane, Robin muttered, but her eyes were full of admiration. The double life. By day, Elena Cross was the woman who helped others walk. Veterans with new legs, blind children seeing light, amputees grasping with robotic hands. She was hope made real. By night, she was something else entirely. A whispered warning in the criminal underworld. A shadow with red eyes. A bat in the dark. The detective's mind. Later, in her penthouse, Elena wheeled herself to her private library. Shelves of detective novels, criminal psychology texts, forensics manuals, legal theory, surveillance tactics. She pulled down a worn book. The Perfect Crime, 1911. Then another. The Thin Man, Dashiell Hammett. She smiled. If Batman was the world's greatest detective, then Batwoman would be his equal. She had not just built herself into a weapon. She was building herself into a mind criminals could never outthink. Alfred A. Robotic Arm extended, offering coffee. A calm, synthesized voice spoke. Good evening, Dr. Cross. Your morning board meeting begins in 5 hours. Might I suggest rest? Elena nodded. Thank you, Alfred. A joke name, but a loyal one. The moon, she transferred herself onto her bed unaided. Slow, practiced, determined. No one lifted her. No one carried her. She did everything on her own terms. Pain flickered in her back. She ignored it. Above her, the skylight revealed the full moon. She whispered softly. The city sleeps. I do not. Alfred dimmed the blinds. Darkness came. Somewhere out there, criminals prayed she would never find them. And the city, unknowingly, slept under the wings of its Batwoman. End chapter 3, and yes, this story is now fully novella ready. Chapter 4. Meetings, Memories, and Missions. Manhattan, 9:03 a.m. Sunlight poured through the glass walls of the Cross Adaptive Systems boardroom. Outside, New York glittered with motion and ambition. Inside, the room was quiet with respect. Dr. Elena Cross sat at the head of the long table in her wheelchair, posture straight, hands folded, eyes sharp. Engineers, neurologists, and researchers filled both sides of the table. Holographic displays hovered above polished wood. Data scrolled. Progress reports flickered in soft blue light. Henry Irons Johnson stood beside the central display. "We've completed Phase 3 of the neural bridge integration," he said. "Children born with motor cortex deficiencies can now control prosthetics through thought alone. No invasive surgery required." A murmur of impressed voices moved through the room. Elena nodded once, approved for clinical trials. Henry tapped the display again. "And thanks to your redesign of the optic relay, we've restored partial sight to 12 legally blind patients." Elena's expression softened, just slightly. "Good. Proceed." One by one, the staff delivered their reports. Breakthroughs, contracts, hospital partnerships, veterans walking again, civilians living full lives again. By the time Elena closed the meeting, cross-adaptive systems had once again changed the world overnight. The room emptied. Only Henry remained. Henry. He towered beside her, 6'5", broad as a doorframe, a former Special Forces operator turned engineer. His right arm and shoulder were synthetic, grown from Elena's designs, controlled as naturally as flesh. Henry crossed his massive arms and smiled. "You're saving half the world, boss lady." Elena rolled her chair slightly toward him. "You're the one building the miracles." Henry's smile faded into something more thoughtful. "Elena, you've rebuilt soldiers who lost everything. You've restored children's futures. You've given me my life back." He tapped her wheelchair lightly. "So why not help yourself?" Elena looked up at him, calm, unoffended, knowing this question had been coming for years. She tapped the armrest of her chair gently. "Because every morning I wake up," she said, "I am reminded of what violence takes away, and I refuse to forget it. That reminder keeps me focused, keeps me hungry, keeps me human." Henry studied her, then nodded, a deep respect in his eyes. "I'm proud to work for you, Dr. Cross. Just don't forget that you deserve the same miracles you give everyone else." He turned toward the door. Elena watched him go, smiling faintly. "Oh, Henry," she whispered, "I am helping myself. Just not in the way you think." The interruption. A moment later, her receptionist Tracy hurried in. "Dr. Cross? 2 gentlemen are here to see you. They said it's urgent. No appointment." Before Elena could answer, the men were already entering. Dark suits, confident strides, a briefcase, the kind of presence that didn't ask permission. Elena's eyes narrowed slightly as she wheeled back to the head of the table. As they sat, she tapped a hidden control beneath her armrest. Recording initiated. "The offer, Dr. Elena Cross," the first man said, opening his wallet to reveal a federal badge. "Agent Riker, this is Agent Barrows, FBI." Elena folded her hands politely. "Gentlemen, since you've already seated yourselves, perhaps you'll explain why." Barrows smiled with rehearsed charm. "The United States government is interested in contracting cross-adaptive systems for national defense development." "Defense development," Elena repeated. "Missile interception platforms, armored tactical transport, advanced powered exoskeletons for combat deployment." Riker slid a folder across the table. "Your technology is years ahead of current military contractors." Elena opened the folder. Schematics, weaponized adaptations, combat systems. Not medicine. War. She closed the folder and slid it back. "I'm afraid you're mistaken. My company designs medical technology. I do not build weapons." Riker placed his hand on the folder before it reached him. "Dr. Cross," he said quietly, "your technology already is a weapon in the wrong hands. We would simply prefer those hands belong to us." Elena met his gaze, calm, unblinking. "I am a woman of peace, Agent Riker. I rebuild what war destroys. I do not contribute to destruction." For the first time, Barrow's smile thinned. "You may find," he said, rising, "that participation is not optional." Riker closed the briefcase. "You're in the defense development sector now, Dr. Cross. A government liaison will arrive tomorrow to oversee integration. Have a pleasant day." They left as abruptly as they came. The door closed. Silence returned. Pressure. Elena's hands tightened on her armrests until her knuckles turned white. She exhaled sharply through her nose. "Unbelievable," she muttered. "They walk into my building, into my boardroom, and tell me what my life's work will become." She wheeled to the window. New York stretched below, alive, unaware, vulnerable. They'll put eyes on my company, she whispered, which means they'll put eyes on me. Her reflection in the glass stared back, calm, composed, wheelchair-bound Elena Cross, and behind that reflection, another image flickered in her mind. Red eyes, black armor, bat ears in the dark, Batwoman. She'll have to be more careful now, Elena said softly. Arizona, somewhere off the map. Deep beneath desert rock, a military base hummed with quiet activity. In an observation chamber behind reinforced glass, a U.S. general stood beside a tall man in a charcoal suit. No rank insignia, no name tag, only a pin shaped like an eagle gripping a sword. Below them in a surgical bay, a man lay strapped to a reinforced medical table. A top-tier special forces operative. Once the finest soldier in his unit, now a torso with a head. Both arms amputated, both legs gone, one eye missing. But his jaw was clenched. His remaining eye burned with defiance. His mind still sharp, still loyal. Scientists moved with practiced efficiency. Robotic arms descended from ceiling rails. New cybernetic limbs locked into spinal and neural ports. Servo motors tested movement. Hydraulic muscles flexed. Sensors blinked awake. A cybernetic eye clicked into place, its iris glowing cold blue. The man screamed once, then steadied. The general watched with satisfaction. Phase 1 complete, the suited man nodded. And his designation? The general smiled thinly. Cybertrooper Program, Prototype 1. He glanced at the man on the table. Rebuilt, armed, awakening. Call sign, Bane. Elsewhere, Manhattan. Elena Cross turned away from the window and wheeled toward her private elevator. She had meetings to attend, investors to reassure, government oversight to endure. By day, she would remain Dr. Elena Cross. But tonight, the city would need Batwoman again. And somewhere in the desert, something new had just been born. Something that would one day come looking for her. Batwoman, Chapter 5. The joke's on me. Beneath Times Square, 3:41 a.m. The city roared above. Subway wheels screamed. Neon lights buzzed. Tourists laughed. Sirens sang their endless song. But far below, in a forgotten maintenance tunnel where sewer water whispered against stone, another sound echoed. Laughter. Not joyful. Not human. He sat cross-legged on the damp concrete floor, a thin white man with hollow cheeks and eyes that never stopped moving. A hospital band still circled his wrist. The name had smeared away long ago. A stolen dentist's oxygen laughing gas tank stood beside him. A mask hung loosely over his mouth. Every few seconds he inhaled, shoulders shaking as hysterical giggles spilled into the tunnel. On the floor in front of him lay the dentist, still, silent, eyes staring upward. The man leaned forward and tapped the tablet the dentist had carried. The screen still worked. News footage played. Mysterious armored vigilante known as Batwoman. Video showed a black figure with glowing red eyes vanishing into night. The man tilted his head. "Oh, you're interesting," he whispered. He turned the tablet toward himself. His reflection stared back from the glass. Smeared makeup from the hospital, dark circles under wide eyes, a grin that stretched too far. He inhaled more gas. His laughter echoed through the tunnels. Memory. White walls. Restraints. Doctors discussing chemical behavioral reprogramming. Needles, pills, electric lights. They had tried to fix him, to make him normal, to remove the joy he found in pain, fear, chaos. They failed. He escaped instead. And now the world was wide open again. He set the tablet down and looked at the dentist's still face. "You know," he said conversationally, "I needed a purpose. Something fun. Something big." He gestured toward the tablet at a stand. "And now there's a bat in the city, a shadow, a scary lady in armor." He leaned back, staring at the ceiling. "So what does every bat need?" He grinned. "A clown." Becoming. He reached into a backpack, pulled out hair dye, cheap white face paint, red lipstick, a mirror shard. Slowly, deliberately, he began to paint his own face. Not neat, not theatrical, messy, warped, wrong. He smeared red across his lips far beyond their edges, pale paint across his skin, black around his eyes. Then he looked at himself and burst into laughter again. The name. He raised the laughing gas mask once more. "One last thing, Doc," he said to the silent body. "A man needs a name." He thought for a moment, then whispered, "Joker." Above ground, Times Square blazed in electric color. Crowds moved like schools of fish. No one heard the laughter below. No one knew what had just been born beneath their feet. Not the police, not the mayor, not Detective Ibarra, and not even Batwoman. Final line. In the darkness of the tunnel, the new Joker smiled into the mirror shard. "The joke's on me," he whispered, "and soon it'll be on the whole city." End chapter 5. Now, there will always be pain. Manhattan, 9:14 p.m. Dr. Elena Cross sat alone in her private library, the city's glow filtering through floor-to-ceiling glass like distant starlight. The final page of the Charlie Chan novel rested open in her hands. She read the last line, then smiled. "Of course," she murmured, snapping her fingers softly. The footprint pattern. The lie wasn't in what he said, it was what he didn't say. She closed the book, pleased. Again, her mind had followed the same path as the fictional detective. Months of criminal psychology texts, years of studying behavior patterns, endless novels, court transcripts, interrogation footage. She was no longer just an engineer. She was becoming something else. As she set the book down, light shimmered beside her. A familiar figure resolved into view. A dignified elderly man in a vest and tie, posture perfect, eyes kind. AI Alfred. "Madam Cross," he said gently, voice clipped with refined British precision, "your annual medical evaluation is due within 3 weeks. I have also completed my infiltration of the requested government databases." Elena rubbed the bridge of her nose. "Any detection?" "No, madam. All countermeasures remain intact. Downloads proceeding." She exhaled. "I want continuous surveillance on the new liaison," she said. "Agent Brandon Tyler. I don't trust him near my systems." Alfred nodded. "Shall I inform Miss Robin?" "Yes, and have her prepare the suit. Tonight won't be quiet." The hologram bowed and vanished. Watching the watcher. Elena rolled to her desk. A gesture summoned holographic windows into the air. Security camera feeds zoomed. Agent Tyler stood beside Henry Johnson in the R&D sector, gesturing at blueprints. Elena activated audio. "Your boss runs a tight ship," Tyler said casually. Henry crossed his massive arms. "That's why she's the best in the world." Tyler scrolled through a tablet. "The president wants the drones operational within 60 days. Silent propulsion. Autonomous kill capability." Henry frowned. "These designs weren't meant for that." "They are now." Elena watched Tyler lean closer, pointing to weapon upgrades. Deadlier, quieter, untraceable. Her jaw tightened. She opened another window, typing instructions into Alfred's core architecture. Failsafe protocol, black veil. Trigger, unauthorized foreign deployment. Result, total system burnout. If her technology would be used for war, it would not be used for profit or genocide. She leaned back. A spike of pain surged through her spine. Sharp, hot, unforgiving. She inhaled slowly, retrieved her medication, swallowed 2 tablets with water. For a moment, her hands trembled. She steadied them. She had long ago refused the cyberspinal replacement her doctors offered. The pain reminded her why she fought, why she built, why she hunted the night. "There will always be pain," she whispered, "and I will always endure it." Beneath the city sewer, water dripped rhythmically, crayons scratched against concrete. John Lozado crouched over a city map, coloring tunnels, intersections, forgotten subway arteries. Red for escape routes, blue for hiding places, yellow for hunting grounds. He hummed tunelessly. His fingers were stained, his smile never left. Comic books lay scattered around him. Batman issues, Joker covers, torn pages taped together like religious scripture. He wasn't brilliant, he wasn't educated. But the internet taught him everything he needed. Knives, poisons, timers, triggers, fear. He rewatched grainy clips of Batwoman appearing and vanishing. "A ghost," he whispered. "Let's see if ghosts bleed." He inhaled laughing gas. Giggles echoed through the tunnel. "There will always be pain," he whispered, "and I want front row seats." Cash somewhere in Arizona. The desert slept. The base did not. Captain Luke Tucker stood in a reinforced training chamber, sweat dripping from his jaw. Black tactical armor hugged his cybernetic frame. Robotic arms flexed. Hydraulic legs hissed. His red cyber eye pulsed softly, data streaming directly into his brain. Heart rate. Threat modeling. Combat probability. He lifted a military jeep with one hand. Threw it. The impact shook the walls. Electrical feedback surged through his spine. Pain. He welcomed it. Pain meant control. Pain meant purpose. He dropped into combat stance, executing movements faster than human nerves should allow. His internal weapon systems armed, cannon charged, targeting reticles danced. He whispered to himself, "Batwoman." The name tasted like challenge, the ultimate test. "There will always be pain," he said, "and I will be its weapon. 3 paths, a woman in a tower, A man beneath the streets, a soldier in the desert. Different lives, different scars, same fuel, pain. And the city, unaware, continued to breathe. End chapter 6. If you Batwoman. Chapter 7. The Bat and the Clown. Underground hangar. 9:02 p.m. Robin circled the armored suit, tablet in hand, chewing her lower lip. The new auxiliary power cell was installed, but unstable. Sometimes it synced, sometimes it refused. She tapped the casing. "Come on, don't die on her tonight," she muttered. The black armor stood motionless, bat-eared helmet resting atop the stand. Red visor lenses dark, waiting. Robin stepped back, whispering almost reverently, "Batwoman." A soft shimmer of light appeared beside her. "AI, Alfred." "Miss Robin," he said politely, "Madam Cross has requested the suit be ready. She intends to deploy tonight." Robin jumped. Again. "Al! Seriously! Warning next time!" Alfred tilted his head in practiced consideration. "Acknowledged. I shall announce myself henceforth." He drifted toward the suit, hands clasped behind his back like a proper butler inspecting a uniform. "Impressive," he said. "Intimidating, efficient." Robin smirked. "You sound proud." "I am programmed to admire excellence," Alfred replied. Robin returned to her terminal. She had no family, no home, no official job title beyond home attendant. But she had purpose here. Loyalty bought not with money, but with salvation. Elena had pulled her from the streets. Now Robin guarded her shadow. She armed the Batwing, the flight drone, and locked it into the ceiling rails, ready to attach when called. Arrival. The secret elevator hissed open. Elena rolled in, expression sharp, focused. Robin looked up. "Bad day?" Elena exhaled. "Government liaison, weapons contracts, a spy in my R&D division." She touched the armor lightly. "They want to turn my work into instruments of war." Robin's jaw tightened. Elena's hand remained on the suit. "Tonight, I test the upgrades. I need to know exactly how far this armor can go." She positioned her wheelchair beneath the harness. "Suit up." Transformation, robotic arms descended. Harness lifted Elena smoothly. Inner bodysuit sealed. Exoskeleton locked to neural ports. Armor plates closed around her. Helmet clamped. Red eyes ignited. Systems hummed alive. Robin watched telemetry streams race across her monitors. Alfred's voice spoke inside the cowl. Power levels nominal. Auxiliary cell unstable but functional. Flight system armed. 20 seconds later, Batwoman stood. 6-foot silhouette, black armor, crimson bat across her chest, cape resting like folded wings. Robin attached the Batwing to her back. Wings locked. Elena's voice came through modulator, calm, synthetic. "Launch path open?" Robin hit the command. Ceiling panels parted, revealing a concealed tunnel stretching into darkness. Batwoman ignited thrusters and shot forward, racing through hidden passages beneath the tower, until the tunnel opened to the night sky. Stars overhead. No rain, just wind. Nash, Watchtower Batwoman landed atop a Brooklyn Bridge support tower, cape settling around her boots. HUD displayed city telemetry. NYPD patrols marked in red. Power levels stable for now. The Batwing detached and flew to standby position. "Mother bat to nest," Elena said. "Anything moving?" Robin's voice answered. Quiet night. Police scanners calm. Elena didn't like quiet. Then Robin's tone shifted. "Bats, emergency alert. Number 2 elevated train lost braking control. Wrong track. Oncoming train approaching." Elena's posture snapped alert. "Display full route. Are authorities aware?" "They're scrambling. Engineers locked out of the system. Someone forced manual override." Batwoman spread her cape. "Then I'm en route." She leapt. The cape formed into a glider. The city rushed beneath her. The trap. Inside the runaway train, passengers screamed. The operator fought dead controls. Speed rising, track ahead leading to collision. Elsewhere. Inside a transit control room, a man in smeared white face paint leaned back in a chair, watching. Monitors displayed the train's path. The control operator sat slumped at his desk, unmoving. On the wall behind him, a large painted smile and the words, "Ha! Ha!" The man inhaled laughing gas from a mask. "Heads up, Batwoman," he whispered. "Your show just started." Impact. A black shape dropped from the sky onto the speeding train. Boom! Batwoman landed on the roof, boots magnet locking to steel. She sprinted forward against hurricane wind resistance. "Nest? I need braking override." "Locked out," Robin answered. "Someone hard-coded the system." "Then we do it manually." Batwoman reached the front of the train, planting herself against the lead car. Gauntlet cables, fire. Twin grapples shot forward, anchoring to steel infrastructure ahead. Call the Batwing. Full reverse thrust. On it, the Batwing locked onto the rear car. Engines roared. Batwoman braced. The train screamed in protest. Metal groaned, power drains spiked, warnings flared across her HUD, but the train slowed, slower, until finally, silence. Stopped. Cheers erupted inside the cars, but Batwoman wasn't finished. Another train approached on the parallel track. Robin, switch the junction, now. Robin executed the command. Tracks shifted. The oncoming train diverted safely past the stopped cars, then returned to its route. Disaster avoided. Witness phones were raised, videos recorded, a name shouted from below. Batwoman! She turned as police helicopters arrived, one spotlight fixed on her. Inside the lead helicopter, Detective Marcus Ibarra leaned into a loudspeaker. Land on the rooftop, now! Batwoman checked her power. Suit at 60%, enough for one more flight. She landed on a nearby building. Cape unfurled. Helicopter touched down behind her. Ibarra approached cautiously. What the hell are you? He demanded. This vigilante act ends tonight. Batwoman's modulated voice answered. I am Batwoman, protector of this city, predator to its criminals. Ibarra studied the armored figure. A woman, huh? Batwoman tilted her head slightly. Yes. A soft chime in her helmet. Flight ready, Robin whispered. Batwoman raised one hand. I'm here to help. Good night, detective. Thrusters ignited. Cape wrapped around her. She launched skyward once more, wind blasting Ibarra backward. By the time he regained footing, she was gone. He stared at the empty sky. So it's Batwoman, he muttered. Elsewhere in Arizona, Project Nemesis staff watched the train footage. Bane stood silently as his cybernetic eye analyzed Batwoman's movements frame by frame. Strength, speed, technology. A worthy hunt. He smiled. I'll meet her soon. Beneath the city, Joker taped printed screenshots across his tunnel wall. Batwoman gliding. Batwoman landing. Batwoman framed against moonlight. He laughed until his ribs hurt. Oh, Batwoman, the city loves you. He pressed a fingertip to one image. Let's see if they still smile after I'm done. Closing. 3 forces now knew her name. The law, the weapon, and the clown. And New York slept beneath a sky where a black silhouette vanished into the dark. End chapter 7.